Sega! And now it's in your head, the iconic jingle from Sega. Of course, the Sega Genesis, my favorite video game console of all time. So I thought, why not do a special 3 gaming items I'm proud to own video all about the Sega Genesis. So I handpicked 3 different items in my collection, and trust me, with the Genesis, there's many to choose from, so this might not be the only one that you'll see. Let's dive right in. Let's kick off today's Sega-centric gaming items I'm proud to own with something a little strange. And if there's one thing that I always really adore about Sega, is how many times that they made accessories and attachments that really kind of went outside the box, you know, for better or worse, right? Even all the way up to the Master System with like the 3D goggles, the Genesis with the Menacer and the Activator, which had motion controls that didn't work, the VR sticks, the virtual on sticks, the Samba maracas, that did work. But every now and then you'll find something that a company will make that you're just wondering, why? Why would you make something like this? And so when I randomly found this while I was out on a trip with my parents, I thought it was strange, but I needed it. This is the official Sega Power Strip. And so you're probably looking at it and you're wondering, okay, what is this? It's just a surge protector, G. Why does this mean so much to you, right? You're right. Yeah, it is just a power strip. But it's a Sega-themed power strip. And let's move on to the next item, folks. No, I'm kidding. So they spaced out, and you know, you can get surge protectors and UPCs now that actually have spaced out power bricks just for situations like this. But just the thought that not only did Sega do that, but they put the individual letters of SEGA in between each power brick. Because if you have a Sega Genesis, that's one spot. If you have a Sega CD, that's a second spot. If you have a 32X, that's a third spot. And of course you need your TV, your sound system. Boom, there you go. And now you got your set. You're set at that point. So why does this mean so much to me? Well, beyond the just obscurity on it, and these are really tough to find now, but beyond the obscurity of it was also the story of how I got it. So my family's from Louisiana. And so a lot of times when we would drive back and forth to actually go visit the rest of my family in Louisiana, sometimes we would actually stop at outlet malls or something like that along the way. And there was an outlet mall in Lafayette, Louisiana that we stopped at. And inside the outlet mall had a Babbage's. I miss Babbage's. Man, I miss Babbage's. And so we go in there, and my dad is expecting me to like pick out a game. It's like, oh, you want to get a game or something? And I was just like, I saw this on the shelf. I don't have the original box anymore. I wish I did. But I saw it on the shelf and I was like, that's so cool. I want it. And my dad is like, son, you really want a surge protector? It's just a surge protector. There's nothing special about it. We can go buy you a surge protector for like 10 bucks at Walmart. And I was like, no, but I want this one. Little did I know, because at that point in time, I wasn't really being a collector. So I didn't really know. I just wanted it because it said Sega on it. And so my dad was like, fine. And so we brought it up to the counter. My mom and my sister were actually, I think they were like at Payless or something like that. And we brought it over. It's like, ooh, what'd you get? What'd you get? And I showed my mom, and my mom looked at me and she was like, really? So, yep. So just the reactions I got from them when I got this power strip means the world to me on this. And I'll never let it go. Like, this is awesome. I don't use it anymore because, you know, obvious reasons. But it's just something really cool to hold in my collection. And just something that I bet you if I bring it up to my parents, they probably won't still let me live it down. Alright, time for another unique piece of my Sega Genesis collection, or I guess in this case I should say Sega Mega Drive. So those who know, yeah, the Genesis is only known as the Genesis in the United States. It's Mega Drive literally everywhere else in the world. But if there's one thing that I am always envious of a Sega Genesis fan, is how many cool things that they get over in the UK and in Europe areas that we don't get. All the stuff that Sega Europe sells on their official Sega store that we can't order in the United States. It's such a sad thing. Like, Sega, really, bring some of that stuff over here. We will give you money. Let us give you money. But there was one company that I've noticed that actually does a lot of really cool things that always had piqued my interest. And it's a company called Retro Electro. And what's cool about Retro Electro is that they make these small scale models, plastic models of consoles that look eerily like the real thing, that are meant to display in like on store shelves and in your houses and whatnot. So I actually have this. This is the Retro Electro 1 to 2/3 scale Sega Mega Drive plastic kit with a replica box and everything else inside of it. So how did I get this? I actually got this from a friend of the channel, Retro Megabit, on Instagram. Big friend of the channel. I've mentioned him before. He's the reason that I got my copy of Proprium, which I talked about in another previous gaming items video. But he hooked me up with this Mega Drive set. So what comes in this box? Take a look at the contents in it, and boom, it comes with the console. So there's the console itself. So it comes with that. It comes with a replica of the original Sonic the Hedgehog cartridge, which once again, I will always scout to the end of the earth that the Japanese and the PAL versions of and the Canadian box art variants of Sonic are so much better than ours. That's just my opinion, though. A collectible stand to put it on, a controller replica that actually has its own stand in itself, and a replica of the Mega Drive box, which looks eerily like the real thing, complete with advertisements of other games on the back and for the controllers. It's so cool. You know how like when you're collecting things and there's always that seed that gets planted whenever there's a company that does multiple different things, kind of like I am with the Evercade right now, but I have to be good. And right now, this is the only one that I have. So if you look at it in comparison to, say, the Sega Genesis Mini, look at it in comparison to Sega Genesis Mini. Look at how close it looks to it. Look at it, all like it looks so close to the real thing. It says Retro Electro Limited First Run. I have no idea how many print runs that they might have had of these things. And frankly, since this is going to be staying with me for life, that's perfectly awesome. I think even the side compartment. Okay, no, unfortunately, unlike the Genesis Mini, so you notice the Genesis Mini, the side compartment comes out. Unlike the Genesis Mini, the Retro Electro does not come out on the side. The volume rocker does move up and down though, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm sure that somebody has probably modified these and put something cool inside of it. Like I'm sure that they probably did. But for what it's worth, I really love this thing. Actually, I really love this thing. It's cool. And so it goes right along with all my different iterations of the Genesis and all the mini models, the USB hub that I have. And it's a perfect place in that family. I love it. It's awesome. So the final Sega Genesis item I'm going to share with you all today is something that is huge. For those of y'all that don't know, I stream on Twitch 4 days a week. Twitch.tv/G10next level, right? And I've actually been doing a thing called Growing Up Genesis, where I've been covering the entire library from A to Z, the United States library, basically from A to Z, playing them throughout. As I've been streaming throughout these past 2 years on Twitch, I've actually had some other companies and whatnot notice the channel and reach out to me. One of those companies is Retrobit Gaming. So Retrobit Gaming, which is really cool. This is not sponsored, by the way. But Retrobit Gaming is really cool in the fact that they spotted me the very first time that I streamed their, in fact, it's over here. In fact, you notice it's actually right back here. I actually streamed their Toplin box set for the Mega Drive. They popped in the stream, they followed, and it hung up with me ever since I got a chance to chat with them at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. One of the things that they do is that they actually re-release plenty of Sega Genesis games, or Mega Drive, depending on where you're at. When they contacted me, they were like, hey, G, would you like to be a part of the release of this game? And I was like, that game? Ooh, because I have a real soft spot for this one, and that's Glay Lancer. So if you're familiar with Glay Lancer, also known as Advanced Buster Hawk Glay Lancer, this is a side-scrolling shooter that was done by Messiah Games and was only released originally in Japan. And I remember, so what does this mean so much to me that this game got re-released? Is the fact that going back and reading gaming magazines back in the day, y'all should already know by now, beyond me being a fan of the Genesis/Mega Drive, is that I also love traditional space shooters, side-scrolling vertical space shooters. Whenever there were ones that never got released in North America, it was always sad. Die Hard Game Fan, I remember specifically, the magazine Die Hard Game Fan always did big expose featured articles about Glay Lancer and just how amazing of a game that it is. And of course, growing up, I didn't have access to imports. And so I never got a chance. This game was always a mystery to me. And I always thought, like, it looks so cool. Why did it never come to North America? Until it finally did come to North America digitally later on, thanks to the Wii Virtual Console and many others that we now get a chance to play this game digitally. It did get a re-release by Columbus Circle a few years ago, which I missed out on. So when they approached me to be a part of Glay Lancer, I was beyond honored and excited. Why does this mean so much to me? It's because of one thing. So not only was I involved with Glay Lancer, but I was also involved with a few other Genesis games, El Viento and Soldies. I legit almost cried, because I would have never thought that in my entire time of being a creator on YouTube or Twitch or anything like that, that this would happen. I would have never thought in a million years that my name would actually be in the credits of a game or in the credits of a manual or anything like that. And like, that's just so awesome and amazing. It's the sheer fact it's like, hey, G was involved with the creation of this game amongst all kinds of wonderful people that actually helped make this game happen. I was just floored when I saw that, because I wasn't expecting that. Like, I really wasn't expecting that. And just the sheer fact that that's also going to happen with the other two games, El Viento and Soldice, which El Viento, one of my favorite games of all time, it actually just, man, seriously, y'all, play this game. If you have not gotten a chance to play this game, play this game. It's a lot of fun. It's hard, but once you really get used to it, it's just such a fun one. And kudos to them for bringing this game out. And now it's something that is just tremendously special to me. So thank you, Retrobit. I appreciate it. All right, so those are 3 more gaming items that I was proud to share the stories behind. And this is probably not going to be the only time that I do a Sega-centric or Genesis-centric gaming items video. So if you want to see more, let me know in the comments and tell me some of your favorite Sega items in your collection. Do you have any cool kits like the Retro Electro, or have you played Gleylancer? Like, let me know in the comments. And while you're there, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It really, really helps the channel out. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky Threads, and you can find me on Twitch, streaming 4 days a week. And as always, be you and be awesome. I'm G, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next level.